Hello, Internet, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering a team that I used for the end of Season 3 in Great League, and that is Jirachi, Machamp, and Azumarill. And Jirachi actually is not too common, but it actually performs pretty well with the new meta, where Azumarills don't really have Play Rough. I mean, Hydro Pump, not Play Rough. Anyways, into the first match, and my opponent has a lead of Obstagoon. This is very bad because Jirachi is part Psychic, and it takes super effective damage from Dark, and Obstagoon is a Dark type, and has Dark type moves. So they store up extra energy, and they swap into a Cresselia, and I am able to get a Hydro Pump landed, and my Azumarill actually isn't maxed out. It's around 1400 CP, and I go for the Ice Beam bait, seeing that Hydro Pump would knock out from here, but they don't actually shield it. So this means that if I want to regain switch advantage, I have to expend 2 shields while they are at still have their 2 shields. So they bring in a Bastiodon, and I could go straight for the Hydro Pump, but they don't shield it again. So I go for the Hydro Pump, and I just get it in time, barely alive. And they also don't shield it. They're just holding on to their shields, and I don't know why. I bring in Jirachi just to expend the Bastiodon and all of its energy, and then they swap into their Obstagoon, but I have no shields, and they just gunk shot me, so that's not great. Anyways, I Confusion down the Obstagoon, and Bastiodon is very low health. Can Jirachi take it out before they get to a flamethrower? Yes, they can. You know, sometimes it feels pretty bad to lose with 2 shields. I think I would have lost if they used at least one of them. But anyways, second match, and I get a very good lead of Whimsicott, because Whimsicott is a part Fairy and Jirachi is part Steel. Steel deals super effective damage to Fairy. So I undercharge this Doom's Desire on the Deoxys defense when they swap out, and just to give a little bit of farm on the Azumarill when I take the Deoxys defense out. And I don't shield the Thunderbolt, and I go for an Ice Beam. They do shield the Ice Beam, and so now I do have to shield this since they showed that they have Thunderbolt, not Psycho Boost. So I go for another Ice Beam, and this does KO the Deoxys defense, and then they bring in a Ferrothorn. Now this is really good for my Machamp, and it's really interesting actually. Machamp and Swampert, they're really good Pokemon, and they have play against every Pokemon from every league. It's crazy. Anyways, I go for the Cross Chop, shielding up the Power Whip because Machamp is very squishy. They swap into their Jirachi, their Whimsicott, hoping to maybe get some extra chip damage on my Machamp, but I immediately swap into my Jirachi and Doom Desire the Whimsicott. So I go for the Doom Desire on the Jirachi, the Ferrothorn, and they survive at 1 HP. And then they Power Whip, and I survive at 1 HP, so Jirachi holding on like a champ and winning the match. Now, third match, and this time the lead is Skarmory. Now, even though on both sides, the moves are all resisted, Jirachi actually wins against Skarmory. And since most Azumarills these days don't actually run Hydro Pump, and most likely Play Rough and Ice Beam, it actually pulls wins off Azumarill too. Two very common leads. And I bring the Deoxys defense quite low, and then they swap into their own Azumarill. And I'm actually going to stay in here because I know I can't mirror and win switch advantage. So I'm just going to try to chip as much damage and maybe even grab a shield. And see there, they had Play Rough, not Hydro Pump. So I go for the Doom Desire, and I do grab a shield, so that's great. Now I'm just going to bring in my own Azumarill, and just going to Ice Beam that. I'm just going to take whatever they get. And they swap out their Vigoroth, and so I swap into their Machamp, and the match is kind of over, and they know it, so my opponent surrenders. So, very nice match. Fourth game, and my opponent starts off with Mew. So Mew has access to Shadow Claw, which deals super effective to Jirachi. So I swap into my Azumarill as a safe switch, and they swap into Noctowl. So Noctowl and Azumarill, it's a very close match. Both of the Pokemon are extremely bulky, and but the thing is, Ice Beam actually deals super effective damage. Now Noctowl usually wins this matchup, but since I had an energy advantage, I'm actually, if I shielded, I would have won the match. But I'm going to save my shields for the Mew, just in case they have 2 moves, because you never really know what Mew has. And I'm going to shield this in case it's a Surf or Wild Charge, and it was just a Psyshock bait. So I go for the Doom Desire, and they shield it, and Shadow Claw is definitely adding up. And this, I'm thinking in my head, is definitely a Wild Charge or a Surf, or a Surf. But it's another Psyshock, and then it hits me. They only have 1 move on their Mew, which is plausible because the 2 move cost is very expensive at 100,000 XP. So their last Pokemon is a Medicham, and Medicham actually resists fighting type damage, so it'll be real close against this Machamp, my Machamp, and this Medicham, and they're extremely low. But unfortunately, they get another power-up punch off, and we faint simultaneously. Who wins? Not me, of course, because Niantic is just, classic Niantic. Can't really say much else, and yeah. So, last game, and I get a lead of Shadow Hypnos. I've been seeing a lot of Hypno leads. Now, theoretically, Hypno should win this match, because if it has Fire Punch or Shadow Ball, then it can deal super effective damage while I'm only doing neutral. And they shield the second Doom Desire and store up to what looks to be a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to shield it because that would KO. But just a Fire Punch, and they got them back to back, and I sneak in an extra confusion there. So Fire Punch does do a lot of damage, but I'm able to get the Doom Desire before they get off one of their moves. And an Alolan Marowak comes in, unfortunately farming me down with Fire Spin. But now I can bring in my Azumarill, and I'm not going to shield this Shadow Ball. It does half HP, and I was thinking of baiting here with Ice Beam, but I'm just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball since I have shielded the same shields. And their last Pokemon is an Obstagoon, which has a double weakness to fighting, so I'm just going to switch in my champ, and my opponent surrenders. So, 2 surrenders already. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video as a little showcase of Jirachi, the wishing Pokemon. And Jirachi performed a lot better than I actually expected. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow, Season 4 starts, and Rank 9 is basically free. There's no ELO until you pass Rank 9 and start on the grind to Rank 10. Anyways, I'll be covering videos on that, and I'll see you soon. Peace!